Welcome to our introduction to open science. This is the beginning of the first 4 seminars that the Center for Science and Technology Studies is promoting with NWO and RCN, the research councils of the Netherlands and Norway. For the first seminar of the series, our idea is to expand on the concept of open science from its various dimensions and the many meanings that the subject may have for different types of stakeholders. So far, we held this first seminar twice for a combined total of nearly 100 participants. And before we started each session, we asked both groups, what comes to mind when you think about open science? The answers were collected interactively and shaped into a dynamic word cloud, which you can see here. The first exciting thing that we can see from this word cloud is the diversity of perceptions in different ideas that our audience had on open science. Of course, there were different types of stakeholders in our groups, including grant and policy officers, science policy managers, ministry representatives, evaluators, and so on. So, while you can see that there are some recurring terms such as sharing, open access, democratic, collaboration, transparency, paywalls, there are a series of non-recurring ideas that can also be representative, such as revolutionary, free to read, blocked by companies, data management plan, equal opportunity, citizen science, replication crisis, and more. All these different perceptions are entirely in line with what we planned for the first seminar, which was to use the 5 schools of thought proposed by Fetcher and Frieseke back in 2014, and we do that in a way to frame the broad meaning of open science. In fact, the authors say we may view open science as an umbrella term for different yet interconnected approaches to the creation and dissemination of knowledge. But of course, another way of looking at those 5 schools of thought is to think of them as branches of the same tree. Branches that are sometimes interconnected while sharing a core concern or core interests. And the 5 schools that we're going to briefly mention right now, but discuss in a little bit more detail over the next few videos, are the democratic, pragmatic, public, measurement, and the infrastructure school. Okay, so what exactly do they stand for? If you look at the democratic school, we're talking about how access to knowledge should be open to everyone. Some examples of that come from the traditional and well-known open access, from open data and several other initiatives that relate to the fact that all types of research products should be made available to everyone. The second school, the pragmatic one, is quite connected to the first one, but it focuses much more on the reasons why science should be open than on making products open. The idea here is that scientists are more efficient if they don't have to reinvent the wheel. So it's about open data, code, and everything that could help scientists work in a more efficient manner. After all, you need to consume science to produce science. Our next school is the public one, which states access goes beyond availability. It's all about understanding, purpose, and participation. That includes citizen science, science blogging, and much more. But we highlight that the main focus of this school is on the word public. So we mean that the focus is on making science available to the public in a way that's truly accessible, and that sometimes means understandable. Next, the measurement school states that traditional impact measures are flawed and cannot capture the multiple dimensions of openness. It involves elements such as altmetrics, open citations, and much more. Finally, the infrastructure school is based on the fact that efficient research depends on openly available platforms, tools, services, and applications. Some examples are online repositories, collaboration platforms, and so on. What we have to think here is that infrastructures are the means to making science open. For instance, how can you properly share a preprint without a preprint server? And from that brief overview of the 5 schools proposed by Fetcher and Friesica, in the live seminars we went into breakout rooms to discuss our views and experiences on this broad perspective of open science. But if you're watching these now and you plan to move to the next video of the series, we invite you to take a couple of minutes before you do it to reflect on the same questions we have already debated. First, we want you to think about your engagement with open science so far. And then we ask you to reflect on the most relevant aspects of open science in your experience. Think a bit about that and feel free to share any interesting insights with us through the available channels at the Knowledge Platform. And with that, see you in the next video.